One of the most difficult things about being discarded by an avoidant is that they can often appear to be completely unaffected by the breakup. Your heart is shattered. You're picking up the pieces. You were blindsided. You didn't see it coming. You had the rug pulled from under your feet and you feel like the wind was knocked out of you. And you are in a lot of pain. But this person, they seem unaffected. They're moving on like nothing ever even happened. And it's a really painful experience. You feel like you never mattered to this person at all. How can they act like they were so in love with you and possibly even tell you how much they loved you? Spend so much time with you, acted like you were their person, and then suddenly you're gone and they're behaving as if you never mattered. Well, understand, people that are avoidant, they spend most of their life running from their emotions, suppressing their feelings, burying them. When there's emotional and relationship stress, they run from it, they dodge it. They stick their head in the sand like an ostrich, and they find ways to distract themselves from the feelings that they don't want to feel, from the pain that they don't want to experience. Running from their problems is how they've learned to deal with their problems, essentially not dealing with them. So the painful emotions of the breakup, the discard, the fact that they hurt you, they don't want to face that. That's too painful. So they find ways to distract themselves. They stay busy, they might go on vacation, spend time with friends, get busier with work, and they may seem like life is just going merrily along. And meanwhile, you're licking your wounds. But understand that even avoidants, they generally can only suppress feelings for so long. Eventually, when it feels safe, they allow themselves to experience the loss and they allow themselves to feel the pain. Typically, it feels safe to an avoidant when you are no longer chasing, you're no longer pursuing, you are no longer actively trying to keep them or get them into the relationship. That comes after a period of no contact. That's why no contact is so effective for many other reasons. So when they allow themselves to feel safe is when they take down that brick wall, the wall that they put up inside themselves that blocks off their own access to their feelings for you. Then they can start to feel the loss, they feel your absence, and they can actually feel a deep sense of shame and regret for the pain they caused you. That's why they often try to come back after a period of no contact. It's because they feel safe enough to allow themselves to experience the loss. In reality, if you do reach out to them, if you break no contact, you're actually unintentionally enabling them. You're sending them the message that they can discard you and have you back at any given time that they want, that there's no consequences to doing that to you. And it unintentionally enables them further into that kind of behavior. However, they do end up experiencing the pain of the loss. However, they can delay that further if they choose to monkey branch, which is to jump into another relationship very quickly, swinging from one tree to the other, but not letting go of the previous branch until they have a new branch in hand. Keep in mind, people that are severely avoidant, they have a low self-esteem, a lack of self-worth. They don't feel good about themselves inside. So the dopamine rush of a new relationship, that validation, can temporarily mask the pain, the emotions that they don't want to face, the painful emotions from the breakup. And it's a distraction mechanism. It's a method of avoidance. Keep in mind, avoid. The word avoid is an avoidant. It's because that's how they've learned to deal with problems, is to not deal with them. But it doesn't mean that they don't have feelings. They just learn to bury them. But people can only bury them for so long. And yes, when they feel those feelings, they can really feel that shame. But the problem is the shame further pushes the avoidant into insecure territory, into avoidance. Because they confirm to themselves that they are bad people, then they are in fact unlovable. That's how they feel. That's where the root cause of these problems come from. Feeling less than, a low self-esteem, fear of abandonment, rejection, engulfment. Those fears all come from a low self-esteem that was learned from childhood. So when they do bad behaviors, it confirms to them their fears that they are bad people. So then they feel worse about themselves. So then they go out and seek validation, whether it's in a new relationship or the old one. But if they haven't healed the core attachment wounds, if they haven't worked on their own self-esteem, the behavior, the discard, the pulling away, the distancing, the stonewalling, gaslighting, even cheating, those behaviors are very likely to be repeated if they haven't actually done any work or won't commit to do any work on themselves. So even though they can feel the loss, It doesn't necessarily mean this person is actually healthy to be in another new relationship or in a relationship that's rekindled. But understand, they do feel the pain. They just learn to hide it and suppress it, but they can only do so for so long. And avoidants at their core are deeply insecure people that often are very unhappy because they don't have a sense of self-worth that's worth anything. They feel low about themselves, and that's not a way to be. So understand, just because you're hurting now and they're acting like they're not, it doesn't mean that there isn't inner pain and issues that are going on, because there are. That's why they behave this way to begin with. Keep in mind, healthy people that are emotionally healthy do not discard. They don't discard partners. That is not what emotionally healthy people do. So don't blame yourself. Nobody's a perfect partner, but you can't make anybody discard you. You can't force anybody to be in a relationship with you. And it's not something that you did. The way they chose to handle the breakup, that's on them. It's a reflection of them, their insecurities, their unhealed attachment wounds. If you blame yourself, you prolong your pain, you prolong the heartache, and you push yourself further into insecure territory. So it's important to be kind to yourself and focus on an understanding of why this person behaves the way they do. It's not an excuse. It doesn't mean you have to tolerate it, but understanding is part of healing, because when you understand both emotionally and intellectually, you're no longer blaming yourself, which means that you are free to heal and move on.